Aloha, I'm Felicia Miller Johnson, and I conduct work life video interviews with career professionals that become an all intuitive conversation. Aloha, I'm Felicia Miller Johnson, and I encourage individuals to live smart and ascend to new levels of work life success. Today, I have the pleasure of connecting for the first time with Carter. And so, just heads up, when we were kind of doing our preliminary, there was a slight little delay. So, I'm going to give him an opportunity as I say something, we may need to have his video to connect. So, like I say, everything is in divine timing when we're supposed to connect and have this conversation. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. So let's bring Carter to the stage. Aloha, Carter.
Good morning, Felicia. Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you so much for being open to having a all intuitive conversation with me today. So tell me, where are you connecting in from? Where are you at?
Okay, well, I'm currently located in Virginia. Spend a lot of my working time in the DC area. So, Southeast United States is where I currently am in the state of Virginia.
Okay, so I used to stop around those grounds for a little while. I used to go to University of Maryland College Park in college days.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yes,
I still got a
yes.
little
College
about
Park. We were out there recently.
yes. So it
There's a
has
lot of good food out there. A lot of good food out there.
well, in the college days back then it was what is it? Cluck you? That used to be like right off the campus on the corner. That used to be our spot right there.
Oh,
It was
I'm not familiar.
yes, those wings. I don't know if it's still there because like I said, the last time I went to the campus, it seemed like they've transformed it a lot. Like you couldn't even drive up Student Union at all anymore after before like when I went, you had to take your chance crossing the street. But now I think they had it all
Oh
like
wow.
blocked off. It's like, oh, okay, I guess they're making it safer
Yeah.
for everybody now. But so are
Oh
you
yeah.
born and raised in the DC area?
No, I was born in California actually. My dad was in the Navy, so he was stationed in San Diego, California, when I was born. My family's all in North Carolina, so we moved back to North Carolina, and then ultimately to Virginia, where all the military bases were, and that's where we kind of settled. So I was in Virginia. I got to Virginia when I was 9 years old. Myself, my older brother, my younger sister, and we've been here kind of around this area ever since. We all kind of work in DC now and live in Virginia. So, but yeah, we're
Uh-huh.
still in Virginia.
Oh, okay. So I love it when, families get to travel and see different because you definitely saw different parts of the world for it to be California to the other East Coast. Um,
Indeed.
for sure. But I love that you mentioned your family. Tell me a little bit more about your upbringing.
I'm a middle child, so I came up watching my older brother, right? I had the benefit of kind of watching my older brother and patterning myself kind of after him. The number 35, like the number I wear, a number I use a lot today, came from my
Hmm.
brother, just kind of watching him, trying to be like him. He wore number 35. So for me, I had a lot of benefits being kind of the youngest one. I have my sister also, but she's like 5 years younger than me. So I kind of got to guide her, a lot more as I matured, but a little bit when I was younger. It was more so probably us competing against each other, being
Ye-
childish and kind of being moved out of that seat of the baby. But yeah, I was in a very advantageous situation. I had a lot of older boys to kind of be the male figures for me that I could look up to, compete with, right? Which made me a lot stronger against people my age. And then having my
Mm.
sister as well to kind of watch her afterwards. She goes on to be this incredible person as well. So I've been in a privileged position, and my parents have always been they've done their best, right? The best that they could
Mm-hmm.
do. They tried to do that for us to give us a strong platform and everything. And then told us, to believe in ourselves, take some chances, things like that. And with them moving around so much, I mean, for my children, they've been in one place for most of their lives, so it's different for them. But me
Mm-hmm.
looking back, that kind of gave me the ability to kind of be dropped anywhere and just kind of get to it, and not be kind of nervous or concerned about it because I'm used to having to adapt so much coming up. So there's a lot of good that I gained from my childhood. Yeah, my family's great. I can't lie. I
Yes,
can't
that
lie.
is awesome. Well,
Yeah.
that card that came out, which it seems to be explaining, is the first one is the Dreamer. And this is the first
Hey, look
card.
at that. Yeah.
Yes, they go out, and here's what it says: it says, a new start, trust yourself, push your fears aside, and take a leap of faith. And that's what this card is all about, going out, exploring, and having new opportunities. Um, and it sounds like, you kind of had like a good fairy tale dream, upbringing, being having an example in your brother and a younger sister to kind of help care for as well. Because initially, when you said middle child, I will say, I wonder, is this going to be like, have you ever seen the Brady Bunch and the whole Marsha being the middle child? So many people feel like I'm not the oldest, I'm not the youngest. I'm just kind of like stuck in
Hmm.
this middle place. But that didn't seem to be your experience at all. Like you were
Yeah.
embracing, like I got somebody to show me the way.
Hey.
I got someone
Uh-huh.
that could, help,
It's all in
take
how
care
you
of me.
look
So,
at it.
hmm
It's largely in how you look at it. So, yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed it, man. I can't lie. I enjoyed it. It was, and
hmm
I kind of understand what they're saying with that, but it gives you an opportunity to kind of carve out your own identity as well. And I guess that's probably what I leaned into, not knowing it, of course, but I probably just leaned. My name is Hughes, also, right? My first name is really Hughes. I've never met another Hughes, so from the beginning, I probably felt like I had to be unique, and I was like, this is just kind of who I am. So I kind of leaned into it. I didn't. I've heard that stuff, but man, I love it. I loved it. My little sister is
hmm
amazing. My big brother, he kind of showed me hard work and all that stuff. So I loved it.
Yeah, so now you got me curious because one of the things that I do with some individuals is research their names for the meaning. So Carter Hughes, and that's what I'm going to look up is Hughes, since I specifically, do you know what that means?
Intelligent one, I believe, is what I is what it said when I looked it up. I don't know, that could have been wrong, but for me, it
No,
said intelligent one.
it does. Meaning
Okay.
soul, mind, intellect. Hughes is a beautiful boy's name of English origin, hailing from the name Hugh, Hugh, which comes from the German name Hugo, which means soul, mind, or intellect. Beckoning that budding Einstein in baby. So, like I
Oh,
said, you from the beginning, you like I said, you got a name, you got the family experience, like all well and fine.
yeah, I'm in line.
You are in line. So I love that. So you mentioned your kids and how I want to say I come from a military background, and we got to move around from, like I said, I've lived in Hawaii. That's where I grew
Okay,
with
yeah.
Aloha. And, there's been Germany, the East Coast, all these different places that I have lived. And when I married my husband, he's from,
So you're army then. You're army.
uh-huh, right. And so then I married my husband who was in the army as well.
Hmm.
And I remember when we came here to Arkansas, we were going to start our family. That was my kind of concern initially because it was, I want my kids to have the experience. I was like, I don't want my kids to be afraid to travel, to go out, to have experiences. I used to literally say, like in
Hmm.
DC, I'm like, I can get on the MARTA and I can go see the Fire Museum here down here. I can go all
Hmm.
these different places and have all these different, experiences. I can go to New York, I can go to Philly, like, and not be afraid. And so I didn't want my kids to
Hmm.
be limited any type of way. So based off of your upbringing and your children, what is it that you would really love for them to experience that you got to experience as a child?
I mean, I talked to my brother about this. I would say adversity. For me,
Mm.
I would say adversity. Like for my kids, that's my only concern is that when things get thick, as they always will in life, how are they going to respond with things being kind of so put together for them at this point in
Uh-huh.
life. So yeah, that's probably one of my biggest concerns. Right, I have a 14-year-old son as well, so it's like,
Mhm.
man, and I try in some ways to kind of manufacture it, of course, but it's not the same as like real life and kind of knowing you have to rely
Listen,
on yourself. Do you have that confidence to really dig in there and and be confident in your next step? So that's probably the strangely enough, that's the one thing I would say because I know that would make them stronger. You know.
and that's the card that already was came in here. It was this woman. She's on this path, and like her wands have like spilled out on the trail, but it's about the struggle,
Yeah.
like working, the
Yeah.
hard. And it says on the card the need for balance in life, and it comes to talk about like if everything, as they talk about, if everything is just so easy and you never struggle, it's how do you know that you can
Hmm.
endure the difficult times because everything was so just hand given, to
Yeah.
you in the experience.
Mhm.
Like for me, like when you say when you was growing up, it's like, okay, yes, I'm gonna go and fill out these, scholarships and I'm gonna do this. And I had to figure out how I'm gonna, get here or get there and those different things. And it's like my parents were there to help care for me. But like I said, as we become better off, it's like sometimes we do have that feeling like, well, I don't want it to be as hard from, my kids, but at the same time, with this I don't know if you ever seen the
Yeah.
comedy routine on Netflix by David. And he was like, the kids today, he's passed away since then. Like the kids today are so soft. They changed the fabric of the playground. Like it's like soft, cushy foam. Like when we played, it was you know, don't fall because you're gonna hit that concrete. Whereas now, they
Ah,
have the little soft cushion. And so I laugh, but it's like I understand what he's saying. The principle of that is it's like the struggle of just the work ethic and being able to know that I can make it even if everything is just not handed to me in
yeah.
this silver platter.
I think that's probably going to be a perpetual thing as long as humans exist, right? Somebody said it to me in a way that kind of encapsulated it for me, and I'm like, wow, that's a bar. He said,
Hmm.
tough times make tough people. Tough people make good times. Good times make weak people. Weak people make tough times. And it's like all a cycle essentially.
Ooh.
So we're just kind of in the part to where these are good times, and unfortunately, there's going to be some weak people being developed because you don't necessarily have to contribute, right? Like it's a tricky situation. They can't really see immediately where do I have to contribute. You have to be more creative nowadays. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
struggle, but I think it's kind of a natural kind of cycle, of humanity, probably. So, but we
Mm-hmm.
definitely try to add some solutions that can kind of give people some meaningful clarity, because we understand that. I mean, this is kind of the unfortunate side of progress, right? Like this is the downside of progress, So it's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily a bad thing, but we do want to have the foresight. I know for me, I want to make sure my children are prepared, for the things that are undoubtedly coming.
Mm-hmm. So the next thing is to kind of keep in this theme with the colors here. It has the theme of nurturing. And here's what the trigger statement says. It says,
Yeah.
I I am I am all in my head, right? True statement says, I create with pleasure. Take time to rest, and in that time, be open to creative pursuits. Surround yourself with things that please your senses and be gentle with yourself. So, the next question is coming through for you, Carter, is what do you enjoy creating?
I mean, everything. I mean, everything that I create normally, I enjoy it. Mostly, it's words, things that deal with words, right?
Hmm.
Guidebooks, poster presentations, courses. But even if I'm like doing a basketball move, right, and I'm creating something in that moment as well. So, and I enjoy that also. So I think all the things that I can create, I enjoy. I just enjoy creating. Period. Right. I feel like when you're learning and you're accomplishing, that's happiness, in my opinion. Right, because you're kind of serving your purpose as the being that you are. But so for me, I can constantly learning, constantly
Hmm.
accomplishing, creating some good stuff and some bad stuff. But it's a process. But yeah, I'm constantly creating things, and I just enjoy creating. But if I had to choose, I would say things with words, the books, the
Okay.
courses. Those are my favorites.
Okay. So the next question that kind of came through. Remember, we started back here with the dreamer and going out
The
and setting
dreamer.
your dream.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. So the next question that came out here is, what do you believe about money? And do my beliefs match my dreams? So the question says, how does your relationship with money affect your current situation? Do you believe you're worthy? Do you believe you're capable? Do you trust money? Does money trust you? Money is energy, it ebbs and flows. You are worthy of it, and it's your responsibility to heal your relationships with money as part of waking up to the whole of you and your purpose. How does that resonate with you?
I mean, that's reality. For me, before I started having any success, I had to write down 5 reasons I felt like I deserved success, right? And that was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Took me a while to do it, but that's one of the exercises that we recommend for people as well. Because I agree with that. You have to feel deserving, right? But as I stand here right
Mm-hmm.
now, or sit here, I'm sitting down. As
Mm-hmm.
I would say, money to me is a result of my productivity, right? So if I want more money, I just need to be more productive. I need to be able to reach more people, impact more people. So for me, it's fairly straightforward as far it's going to be tied directly to my productivity. So I'm trying to figure out how to be more productive. That'll be like the journey I'm on for the rest of my life, essentially, right? Trying to figure out how to be more productive, more impactful, right? Automating
Mm-hmm.
things. Maybe you start with a certain thing that I'm doing and then learning how to automate that so it can still fulfill that need to people. But for me, I tie it directly to productivity. You're going to have lucky jumps and things like that, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to keep growing and keep becoming more, so I can be more productive. And I assume the money will come with that. But I focus more so on the productivity, being productive, making sure I'm impacting people at my job, making sure I'm productive at my job, right? Whatever I'm doing, just making sure I'm productive. And
Mm-hmm.
for money, yeah, because we didn't grow up rich, so I think that is definitely something that's important. Trying to improve your relationship and trust of money, I definitely agree with that. Because I know for me, I had a negative view of people who had money, right? When I was younger, I just had a negative view. And then I realized that it's tough to kind of strive to become something you despise, right? So I had to kind of get an understanding of like, why do I have such resentment towards people with money and all this? So for me, it was getting to the bottom of that and understanding that this is all kind of built on foolishness. So I had to I had to let that go. But it
Okay,
wasn't
you
until
said
I got old
foolishness.
enough to kind of
I'm gonna,
understand that I can kind of make the rules
I'm
for
gonna tell you
myself.
the in this deck they call it the dreamer, but like in the standard traditional tarot deck, this what this card is called, the fool. But in this one, they called it the dreamer because some people could be offended by the word
Uh-huh.
fool. So it's interesting that you're talking about that and that perception with the whole idea of money. So now let me tell you what the rest of this particular card says based off of what you just shared. It said, take a deep dive in your belief system around money. Are there any beliefs you need to upgrade to create the results you are wanting most in your
Mm,
life? Write out your money story. Did you not say that? That's what you did. You had to write down understanding, why am I hating people with money? Like what's the issue here? And like you
yeah.
said, get rid of that foolishness and that whole dreaming. It says, write out your money story. It's
Yes.
time for a sacred shift. What will your next chapter be? So based off of that, and you're talking about money and you're working at ethic. So it's the same way that we were just the guidance is coming through for you, Carter. It's the same thing that we were just suggesting for our kids, that we want them to have the experience of working, being able to deal with the challenges, right? But then some things given, easier than kind of than
Mm-hmm.
what we had. And so one of those things that they're just also saying, this little tweak
Mm-hmm.
about this whole money and the stress situation, is that what if I told you it doesn't always have to be about the productivity? And see, one of the philosophies back in the day is like it's time and money. Because the thing about you is that they're saying like nurturing, continue to be creative, have a work ethic, but don't always think that your
Mm-hmm.
financial abundance and your blessings have to come from something that you do physically with your hands,
Agree.
that you do yourself
Mm-hmm.
all the time. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? Because the guidance
Mm-hmm.
here is, as it says on this card, working too hard or too many hours, the need for balance in life. Let others help you.
Agree.
You ain't gotta do it all
I agree. We don't
on
have
your
enough
own.
time to trade for money. So yes, I agree. You have to become
We
more creative. Yes.
we do not, and that's what you are evidently totally. You like to, like I said, coming up here. I create. The true statement that I create with pleasure. You are the dreamer. You take leaps of faith. So based off of that, and if you have the help, the financial resources, all those different things, what is it you want for your business 5 years from now?
I want it to be, I want to have, tools that are operating in at least 10 states, right? Like helping people in at least 10 states. That's one of the
Mhm.
goals. That's really the main one. 10 states have these tools kind of circulating within that workforce arena and helping people within that kind of youth development arena, helping people. 5 years from now, that's the goal. 10 states here in this country. And then from there, we'll see what happens. But
Mhm.
a lot has to be done, of course, but that is the goal, though, to have my products and tools operating, helping people in at least 10 states.
So you mentioned numbers and how 35 resonated with you. So I was like, okay,
Hmm.
0550. And I just asked you, 5 years from now, what do you want your life
Hmm.
to look like? Here's what it says. The eye candy, intuition, inspired action, beauty, arts, socializing, flow, potential, romance. Get some fresh air, stepping out, going out into the nature, or
Hmm.
call some of your pals over. Take a look around you. There is so much natural beauty waiting to be discovered. Visually, this is what this picture is saying on this card. Either you will soon become involved in an exciting new project or you will go out on a date. Put your charisma to use everywhere. Spread your charm around.
I like that one. I like that. I will be going to Lagos in a couple weeks, so maybe that's the new venture that's coming up. That could be it.
Be open to your opportunities. Go, because this is coming out like going back to, it's interesting because both of the guests that I had today are it's kind of getting the same message that you talked about. Whatever it is that your vision, like have you've done in the past, write it out. Make the vision
Yes,
clear of what you want, what you're going to achieve, and don't and be open to that. It doesn't have to be you to actually do all the work. You see what I'm saying? Because one of the things that if you have that goal of going to 10 different states, that's going to require more resources, more people, and more different things, right?
yes,
But still keep in mind you have your work ethic, but have fun. Still continue to be creative. You understand?
I agree. Yeah, I will.
And then as you're going to your vacation, dream, enjoy the beauty, knowing that this is your life. That be present in that moment.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I will. I will. Yeah, I'm going out there to look at some business opportunities too. So this is all kind of lining up. Yeah.
Dream. Like I said,
Yes.
take a leap of faith.
I agree.
But remember, as you're doing all that work, you don't have to do it all on your own. It's okay to have some help.
Yeah, that's okay. I need to write that one down. That's the thing I need to work on this year. I need to work on that. Yeah.
So be it. So if somebody comes along and they see this interview and they're like, hey, maybe I want to come along and help Carter and provide that help, how can they reach you?
Yeah, you can definitely reach out. You can just go to the website, actually, www.carterhughes.knowledgeinstitute.com. And then you can just contact us at the bottom of the homepage. There's a link to contact us, or there's a contact us button as well that you can hit, and that will send me an email, and then we can have a discussion. Yeah, I would appreciate it.
Awesome. Absolutely. Well, Carter, thank you so much for coming and having an all intuitive conversation with me. I do hope you were encouraged to live smart and ascend to new levels of work life success. For those of you that have joined, I too hope you were encouraged to live smart and ascend to new levels of work life success. If you're interested in being a guest, you can learn more on my YouTube channel, and you may also visit the website All Intuitive Conversation. And until we all meet again, this has been an all intuitive conversation. Thank you, Carter.
Thank you. Hey, this is incredible.